They That Wait. My gosh. It's one of my favorite songs from the Fred Hammond collection. Praise God. They that wait on the Lord. It's also one of my favorite scriptures. So I guess that's the reason why it's one of my favorite songs. That they that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. All right. Praise God. I'm so delighted once again to be joining you, or to have you joining me this morning on this snowy, cold Friday morning here in Kansas City, Kansas City, Missouri, the entire region. We're covered with snow. Thank God that we didn't get as much as they forecasted, but we got just enough to mess up the streets and make traveling just a little bit risky. So I want to encourage you that are here in Kansas City, be careful if you get down today. Certainly be careful. Take your time. You don't have to be in a rush. You just don't have to be in a rush. Whatever you're going to, it'll be there when you get there. And if it's not there when you get there, you didn't need to go in the first place. So please, while you're out on the roads, just take your time, slow down. If people get a little bit frustrated with you driving at a slower rate of speed, just allow them to go right around you. They'll be okay. They'll be okay. Just don't look at them as they're passing you, because they might be saying some very unkind things about you. But that's okay. You can't hear it, so it doesn't make a difference to you anyway. Just keep focused and keep it moving. All right. Well, let's get right into what I want to share with you today. Some of you have already seen my topic for today. I posted up there when I put the label on the broadcast, and when it pops up on your phone, you already see what the topic, and today it's cultivate it or kill it. Cultivate it or kill it. You know, yesterday I had a revelatory thought concerning something that we unconsciously actively engage in at all times. Consider this. We are constantly nurturing something while at the same time neglecting something else. Now, I want you to let that sink in. I'll say it again. We're constantly nurturing something while at the same time neglecting something else. There's not a moment that goes by that you're not actively nurturing and neglecting simultaneously. Some of you immediately push back on my conclusion because of your perspective on what it means to neglect something. For you, the word neglect carries negative connotations. When one suggests to you that you're neglecting something, many of you are programmed to hear the comment as an insult. Mm-hmm. But have you ever considered the fact that there are times when there are some things you need to neglect? Let me get my lips, my words, my tongue together. There are times when there's some things you need to neglect, even must neglect, because at the time, that thing serves you no personal purpose. It serves you no personal good. Think about that. On the other hand, there are some things that you likely spend a great deal of time, a great deal of energy nurturing because of the enhancement that those specific things bring to your life. Some things you nurture, some things you neglect. Some things you spend a great time nurturing, while at the same time you're neglecting other things. It's happening all the time. Unfortunately, there are people who have not quite figured out what things they need to nurture and what things they need to neglect. Some people are nurturing what they should be neglecting, and they're neglecting what they should be nurturing. Now, it's vital that you get this figured out, because otherwise you will waste a lifetime spending all your time and expending all of your energies on things that will never prosper you. You may even be expending all of your time and energies on things that will ultimately get you in trouble or create a problem or wreak havoc in your life. That's why it's so important that you get this figured out. What should I be nurturing? What should I be neglecting? When should I be nurturing? When should I be neglecting? You'll find yourself stuck on the perpetual and proverbial hamster wheel of life, forever going nowhere fast. I know there's some of you that already feel that way. You feel like that you're just stuck. You're using a lot of time, you're using a lot of energy, you're busy, you're active, but you're not going anywhere. And I believe one of the reasons why is because your focus is misdirected. You're giving your time and your attention to the wrong things. You're giving your time and attention to things that absolutely will not prosper you. And personally, I truly believe that it's so important that anyone who has aspirations of going anywhere of significance in life, for them to occasionally make personal assessments of their state and progress in life. You need to stop every now and then and just consider where you are at any given time and how far have you come. You need to actually occasionally ask yourself a few questions such as, where am I going? Now that might seem like a very simple question to a lot of people, and some people will quickly dismiss it because they think they know where they're going, but they really haven't set any direction for life. You need to ask yourself, where am I going? You need to ask yourself, have I established direction for my life? Do I have a destiny in mind? And then you need to follow up the question by asking yourself, how close am I to reaching my goals and my destiny? Otherwise, you're going to just remain on that hamster wheel, spinning your wheels, going nowhere fast, remaining in the same place, fighting frustration daily because it seems as though you just can't get ahead. You need to ask yourself, why have I not done or accomplished more in and with my life? That's a good question to ask. Ask yourself, what am I doing right? And what am I doing wrong? Take personal assessment of yourself. I make this a habit. It's a habit for me. And I do it so much that sometimes it can almost serve to my detriment, because I'm such a perfectionist and I want everything to be excellent, and I get pretty disturbed when it feels like I'm not making the progress that I should. Nevertheless, every now and then I sit down and take a personal assessment of myself and my life. It's during a time where there are no electronics going. I don't have the television on. I'm not on the phone. I'm not checking my email and things of that nature. I'm just sitting and thinking and assessing, where am I? Where am I going? What have I accomplished? What do I desire to accomplish? How have I been spending my time? Where have I been utilizing my energies? Even in terms of wasting my energy at times, wasting my time. I sit down and ask myself all of these questions. What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? And To be honest with you, the true answers to these questions can be painful and hard to consider. That's just the reality. But they can also force you to make some hard decisions about your life and the choices you make with regards to you navigating through your life. You know, some of us won't ask ourselves these kind of questions because we don't want to face our own realities. And the reality is, the only reason why you're not much further ahead in life is because of what you've been nurturing and what you've been neglecting. Your choices, what you choose to nurture, and what you choose to neglect. And again, you can't get around it. You absolutely cannot get around it. You're in the process of being engaged in nurturing and neglecting right now, even as I'm talking to you, even as you're listening to me. You're trying to nurture your development in life right now, but at the same time, something else is being neglected, and that's not a bad thing. Okay, you may be neglecting the television, ignoring it. You got it turned off. You may not be nurturing in some other area of your life, but right now, this is your focus. And while you're focusing here, while you're nurturing yourself, you're nurturing your personal development right now, you're also at the same time neglecting something else. And let me say it again, it's okay to neglect some things at certain times. As a matter of fact, there are times when you must neglect some things. Sometimes you have to neglect paying attention to certain people so you can give some nurturing to someone else who really needs it. I just want you to see how this all works. Now, the point that I'm trying to make here is that it's so important that you be very selective in terms of what you're nurturing and what you're neglecting. You got to be very strategic. You got to be very conscious of what you're nurturing and what you're neglecting. I know there have been times when I've sat around and watched television for hours on top of hours. And I finally say to myself, Tony, you got to get up and do something better than that. You got to be just a little bit more productive. And that's when I make the conscientious decision to walk away from the television, to neglect the program that's really not doing anything for me but entertaining me or helping me to get a good nap, which, you know, I don't mind that every now and then. As a matter of fact, that's pretty good for me to get a good nap. But it's not good for me to waste the entire day away just napping when I could be doing something a lot more productive. I could be nurturing my mind, nurturing my development, improving in a certain area, getting some things accomplished that I've been putting off or procrastinating on doing. Why? Because while I was watching television, I was neglecting some of the things that I really needed to do. Yeah, it happens. It's happening all the time. We can't get away from it. We can't conscientiously decide that I'm neither going to nurture nor neglect. It's not going to happen. When you're doing one thing, you're not doing something else. And I'm urging you to develop the wisdom to know what to nurture and what to neglect, when to nurture and when to neglect. And neither activity is a bad thing. With every situation that you face in life, there is one of two ways in which you must handle the situation. And here it is. You either have to cultivate it or you have to kill it. Yeah. That word cultivate means to foster growth, the growth of. It means to improve by labor, care, or study. That suggests that you're going to have to give some time and careful attention to what you're choosing to cultivate. If you desire to grow in a certain area of your life, in order to grow that area, to cultivate that area, you're going to have to dedicate time, attention, and energy to that situation. And let me say right off the bat, it's not always going to be easy. It's going to take intense discipline to cultivate some of those areas in your life that needs cultivating. It's going to take great focus to cultivate some of those areas in your life that you desire to cultivate. When I decided to better myself through formal education, I'm telling you, it was a sacrifice upon sacrifices. And I'll say this while I'm there. It wasn't just a sacrifice for myself. It was a sacrifice even now for Lady Ann. She had to sacrifice some things while I was cultivating my development in terms of my formal education. You know, for the first 20 years of our marriage, I was literally in school. I was in school for the entire first 20 years of my marriage. I was working on my bachelor's degrees. Then I worked on the 2 master's degrees that I've earned. And then finally, I went through that process of working on the doctorate degree. And during that whole time, I had to make some serious sacrifices. And again, I said, Lady Ann did too. There were some trips that we wanted to take, but I couldn't quite sacrifice the time to take those trips, because had I sacrificed the time to take those trips, I would have been neglecting my studies, which would have not proved to serve in my best interest for what I was desiring to accomplish at the time. And then there were times when we were able to take certain trips that I had to split my time, even now, with spending time with my wife and doing some of the assignments that I had to get done. Wherever we went, my laptop went with me. Books went with me. I used to carry around probably one of the heaviest backpacks on the planet, because I was carrying things with me so that I could work on my assignments while trying to get in a little bit of time of vacationing with my wife. Now, watch this. I was nurturing myself through my education, but at the same time, man, I'm getting in trouble with this, I was neglecting Lady Ann and spending time with her. And I know she wasn't happy about it all the time, but she still encouraged me to do what I needed to do, because she knew what goals I had in mind. She knew what I desired to get done. And let me say this, she was my champion in helping to push me forward, to encourage me to continue down my path, to continue to pursue my education, especially during those times that I wanted to just give up. I wanted to say, this is just too much. I don't feel like doing this. And she would, in her voice, that really only she and I and a few of us know about, she would say to me, "You can do it." Come on, Tony, you can do it. You got this. You got this. Pushing me. And she did this for 20 years. She was nurturing me while I was nurturing myself in the way of improving myself by getting my formal education. She was nurturing me while I was neglecting her. Now, I wasn't neglecting her on purpose. I wasn't neglecting her because she was not important. I was only having to neglect her to some degree because of the priority that we had placed on me achieving this goal. And one of the things that Midwestern Baptist Theological Seminary did at the time we completed all of our work and received our degrees, our doctoral degrees, they gave us an extra certificate that we could award to someone who was our biggest support during the time of us going through the process of writing our dissertation and completing all the work that goes along with earning a doctorate degree. And we could also write a dedication in our dissertation to the person that we felt supported us most. And of course, I gave the certificate. I had it filled out with my wife's name on it and everything. And I tell people that we earned this degree. We did it together. I know my name is on it, but we did it together. And I don't minimize that. I greatly appreciate my wife for her full support while going through that process. But again, the only reason why I was able to accomplish what I accomplished is because I was determined, I was focused, and I did what I needed to do to cultivate some things at a particular time and to neglect other things at that same time in order to achieve what I desired to achieve. I hope you all are following me very closely with what I'm saying here, because it's so important. If you really, really are intent on making some things happen, this is what you must become determined and intentional about doing. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Lady Ann just threw something up in the comments, and I sure got to throw that up there. She said it was worth it. Look at you now. I'm so proud of you. Oh, she gonna make me blush. Some of y'all sitting there saying, "I'd like to see that." my cheeks may not turn rosy red, but they'll get a shiny brown. Oh wow! But again, it's so important, and it's always good to have people in your corner, people in your life, people in your circle who will push you and who will understand and who are willing even to make sacrifices with you to help you to achieve whatever it is you desire to achieve. Let me speak to husbands and wives in particular. When you know that your spouse has a vision, and you know it's an honorable vision, and you know that it is a vision wherein it's going to cause your spouse to gain a sense of fulfillment in life, instead of hating on that person, instead of pushing back on that person, instead of becoming jealous of that individual, support that person, push that person. Be willing to make whatever sacrifices are necessary to help that person get to where they want to be and to achieve the things they desire to achieve. Because you are one, you're no longer two, but you're one. You're supposed to be in it together. And have the realization that whatever benefits my spouse, whatever blesses my spouse, it benefits and blesses me as well. Whatever they're able to accomplish, you got to conclude that I accomplish it as well. Always remember that you're a team and understand the process of nurturing and neglecting. And don't look at it as a bad thing when you're on the neglected end, so to speak, because you're not really being neglected in the sense that we often looked at being neglected. You're not being neglected. It's just a matter of your spouse having to redirect their time, attention, and energies somewhere else for a temporary length of time. Listen, cultivating requires focus, directed time and energy, and a commitment to extraordinary development. And believe it or not, it's a matter of personal choice. And you have the freedom to choose either way. You can cultivate or you can kill. The choice is yours. Now, let me bring up some very specific areas in your life where you have to be very intentional and strategic when it comes to cultivating and killing. Let's start with your purpose. You have to be very intentional about your purpose. Once you come to know your purpose, you either need to cultivate it. And if you don't cultivate it, I said you either need to, but really there's no choice here. If you don't cultivate your purpose, then you're going to kill your purpose. That's point blank, straight out. If you don't cultivate your purpose, you are going to kill your purpose. Why? You're never going to walk in it. You're never going to fulfill it. You're not going to strategically navigate through life based on your purpose. That being the case, what good is your purpose if you're not going to cultivate your purpose? Same goes for your plans. You're either going to cultivate your plans or you're going to kill your plans. Some of you have had plans lying around dormant for numbers of years. Literally. You made plans to do certain things years ago that you haven't done yet. Case in point, some of you planned years ago to further your education. And because you have not yet pursued your plans or engaged in fulfilling your plans, you have thereby killed your plans. But here's the good news. You're not too old to revive your plans. How do I know that? You're still inhaling and you're still exhaling. You still have a reasonable amount of your faculties to the degree that you can get some things done if you choose to do so. What about your potential? And here we go again. Either you're going to cultivate your potential or you're going to kill your potential. And what is potential? Potential is untapped power that resides in you. Untapped abilities that reside in you. Untapped possibilities that have never been fulfilled. When you hear someone speak of another's potential, they're only referring to what they could do, not to what they're doing. Potential produces absolutely nothing unless that potential is utilized through power, through activity, through actually doing something that is productive. It is only when you become productive that your potential is engaged. And either you're going to use the potential you have or you're going to kill it. You're going to cultivate it or kill it. What about your progress? That sounds like a strange one, some of you might say. Progress? Yeah, you either need to cultivate it or you're going to kill it. Sometimes one of the ways that you cultivate your progress is that every now and then, when you get a little bit too comfortable with something and it seems as though things need start to slow down, that's when you need to switch some things up. Don't become so comfortable with your movement that you ultimately become stagnant. It can very easily happen. When you become idle, when you stop being creative, if you will, when you stop pursuing or going after even greater than what you presently have. When you're constantly reaching for more, reaching for greater, reaching to get better, it's only because you're cultivating the progress that you've already made. And you want to keep that momentum going. You want to keep moving forward. You don't want to start regressing. You don't want to start moving in reverse. You don't even want to stand still. Because again, the status quo at some point will stop producing. Don't kill your progress by not reaching for better, but cultivate it. Go for more. See what else is in you. Tap into that potential that you have not yet tapped into. Same holds true when it comes to your problems. You can either cultivate your problems or kill them. And here's one time where I suggest that you kill your problem. Well, how do you cultivate your problem? When you're constantly dwelling on that problem or those problems. When you're constantly whimpering and whining over the problems that are in your life. When you're sitting around waiting for someone else to fix your problem, rather than you getting up and doing something to resolve your problem, that's when you're cultivating your problem. Who needs to cultivate problems? You don't need your problems to grow. You need to stop them dead in their tracks. You need to kill them, especially when you know you have the power to do so. Am I making sense to anybody here? Some of us allow our problems to fester and to hang around much too long. You don't have to do that. Now, I understand that there are times when problems occur in our lives wherein we feel powerless to bring resolve to that problem. But that's where your faith comes in. When you place your problems in the hands of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, when you lay them at his feet, if you will, the problem is no longer yours to carry. And as far as you're concerned, you're killing it rather than cultivating it, even though you think it's beyond your level or ability to resolve. Allow the Lord to resolve it or to bring resolve to it. That's how you kill your problems. What about your pains? You can either cultivate them or kill them. How do I cultivate my pains? When you allow the wounds of those pains or those scars or those emotional injuries that you've suffered, when you allow them to remain open by constantly talking about them, what we call rehearsing them over and over and over again, when you're constantly whining and whimpering about something that happened to you 30 years ago. Now, I'm not by any means minimizing people who were abused at a young age or whatever, those kind of situations. But even at that, if you need to go and sit down and talk with someone and get help with overcoming that situation, with overcoming those pains and those hurts, then do that. I know traditionally we've been hesitant to go and talk to anybody about anything because people would label us as being crazy. If you went to talk to a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a therapist, people would label you as crazy. But if you need help, you just need help. If you need to talk to someone, you just need to talk to someone. And believe you me, every last one of us have needed to talk to somebody at some time or another. It may not have been a professional, but you needed to talk to a friend. You needed to talk to a family member. You needed to talk to a pastor or a preacher. Why? Because you had hurts and pains that you wanted to heal, and you just wanted some wisdom on how to heal your hurts and your pains. But if you're only going to talk about them for the sake of entertaining other people, then you're cultivating your pain rather than killing it. What about your pleasures? Now, I'm not talking about ungodly pleasures. I'm talking about wholesome pleasures. Your enjoyment of life itself. You can either cultivate them or you can kill them. Some people are such workaholics and so focused on the seriousness of life that they never experience any pleasure in life. Some of you just need to loosen up. You would feel better if you would just loosen up. If you would just do something pleasurable for a change. Treat yourself to something. Go enjoy yourself in some activity. I don't care what it is. If you enjoy taking walks, go take a walk just for the pleasure of it. People ask you, why you out here walking? It doesn't necessarily have to be because you need to lose weight. Okay, you may need to lose weight, but every now and then, go just take a walk because you want to enjoy nature. You want to enjoy the good weather. If you like snow, go take a walk today just for the enjoyment of it. Because if you don't cultivate those opportunities wherein you can find pleasure in life, you'll kill all of your pleasure. And I've run into some people that just come off as pleasureless people, have no pleasure they're not happy. They don't feel fulfilled. They never get outside the box. They're so rigid, so routine. They never take time to enjoy life. Let me tell you something. One of the most liberating things that ever happened to me was when I discovered that it was okay for me not to be at Canaan Worship Center or Canaan Missionary Baptist Church on a Sunday morning. I may have just gotten in trouble there. What are you talking about, Bishop? What are you talking about, Dr. Cobbins? There was a time that anytime my wife and I traveled, we would always make our travel plan. No, not we. I'm not even going to put that on her. because she would say right now, she'd be like, don't put that on me. I would always make our travel plan such that I would be back in Kansas City so I could be back in the pulpit every Sunday morning. The irony to that was the people that I was trying to make sure that I was keeping happy, they would miss several Sundays. They would go on their vacation and they would be gone 2-3 weeks and let me know before they left. Hey, I'm gonna be gone for the next 3 Sundays. Oh, what's up? I'm going on vacation. And I'm sitting there going, well, I'm rushing back every Sunday so I can be here for y'all. But don't nobody care about that when they get ready to go on vacation. They ain't. I didn't have any Urshers that was planning their vacation so they could be back by Sunday morning to be on the front door to greet the people when they come in. I didn't want nobody doing that. Choir members weren't saying, my vacation is going to have to end Saturday so I can be back in the choir on Sunday mornings. I discovered that. And I finally decided, hey, it's time for me to live. It's time for me to enjoy life. It's time for me to stop robbing Lady Ann of some of the pleasures that she wants to experience with her wonderful husband. That'd be me. Okay. And I finally decided, if I'm back, I'm back. If I'm not, oh well. They'll be all right. And I discovered that what I concluded was absolutely correct. Now I'm going to take my vacation. And I'm not trying to come back on Sunday. I need that rest. So I'm learning to cultivate my own pleasures rather than killing them. As a matter of fact, if I had kept killing my own pleasures and neglecting or shortening my vacations or our vacations, yeah, there would have been some killing going on. It would have probably been First Lady killing me. I'm just kidding, y'all. She wouldn't kill me. What about this? Your peace. You either cultivate it or you kill it. You cultivate your peace by the things you intentionally take on that would by not intentionally taking on certain things that would disrupt your peace, or by constantly focusing on things that disrupt your peace. That's how you kill your peace. When you're focusing on something that will kill, that doesn't add value to you, that brings chaos and confusion into your life. When you're focusing on those things, you're robbing yourself of your peace. You're literally killing your peace. But you can cultivate your peace by establishing peaceful situations around you. You have the power and the ability to control your environment to a certain degree. You have the power and the ability to choose what you're going to focus on and what you're going to dismiss. The choices are yours. And so, again, you're either going to cultivate your peace or you're going to kill it. What about your promise? You have some very promising things about you that you can either cultivate or kill. And some of those promising things are directly tied to your purpose and your potential. Therein lies your promise. When you're cultivating your purpose and your potential, by default, you are cultivating your promise. What's promising about you? What about your prosperity? Cultivate it or kill it. Cultivate it or kill it. And again, the choice is yours. How do you kill your prosperity? When you neglect opportunity, reject opportunity, when you are not aware enough to know when opportunity is being presented to you, you can literally kill your prosperity. When you are wasteful with your resources, your resources have been given to you so that you might prosper. And when you waste your resources, when you mismanage your monies, your earnings, then you are literally killing your prosperity. But when you are wise with your monies, wise with your finances, when you manage well, you are cultivating your prosperity because you are putting yourself in the position to do well in life. And it's regardless as to what income bracket you may be in presently. It has nothing to do with that. See, when you're cultivating your prosperity, you are taking what you have, taking what is available to you, and you're making the most with it. And believe it or not, when you are getting the most out of what's made available to you, you are literally cultivating your prosperity. And then the last one, just by way of review before I hit the last one. These are all P's in case y'all didn't notice it. You need to cultivate your purpose, your plans, your potential, your progress. You need to kill your problems, kill your pains, cultivate your pleasures, cultivate your peace, cultivate your promise, cultivate your prosperity. But then lastly, you need to cultivate your posterity, your posterity, meaning your lineage, your children, your children's children. You need to cultivate them. In other words, do all you can to pour into them, to help them to be the best little individuals that they can be. Or even if they're adults already, you still need to do what you can to help cultivate their lives, to help them find themselves in a better position in life. I hope I've been making sense to you all this morning. I felt kind of off just a little bit every now and then. My tongue got a little bit tied, and you know, it's the end of the week. It's cold outside, and sometimes you're thinking and your brain isn't flowing as fluently as you would like for it to. But I hope that I got the message across clear enough where you can fully understand where I'm coming from. And I hope that you have become determined that you're going to be very strategic about how you move forward in life in terms of what you choose to cultivate and what you choose to kill. Layla Shay, you say it's not easy, but I do my best as a single mother with a young adult man. I feel you on that one. Parenting is never easy. Anybody that thinks parenting is easy, you got another thing coming. Kathy Johnson, yes, these sessions are recorded. Anytime we go live on YouTube, it goes right into our YouTube archives. You can go back at any time and review any of the morning mochas that's there in our YouTube library. Yolanda Goodwin, God bless you. Thank you for your seed. Thank you for your seed. But again, those of you that are parents, and again, even if you have adult children, sometimes adult children can be more difficult to deal with than minor children. Why? Because number one, they'll tell you in a minute that they're grown, despite the fact that they're obviously messing up their lives. They're obviously failing to use wisdom and making bad choices. And sometimes when they mess things all up, adult children expect their parents to bail them out of the situations that they got themselves into. And if that parent either is not able to or refuses to do so because it brings too much of a burden upon themselves, some adult children will have the nerve to get angry and upset with their parents, thinking that that parent has a lifetime obligation to just take care of that child, even though that child is now an adult. Wow. And that's a shame. And again, when things don't go their way, or when that parent doesn't do what they expect for them to do, then they'll start all this foolishness. Well, you ain't none of my mama, you ain't none of my daddy. Now, you gonna act like that after all that we've done for you? Are you kidding? We've raised you. We've provided a roof over your head. You used to could say, I did it for 18 years. I did it for 21 years. Now you're saying, I done done this for 30 years. You 35 years old, still living up in my house. And you acting like that. I better stop. I better stop, because now I'm reverting back to stop the madness. You know? But again, when it comes to those kind of situations, even now, you can either cultivate them or kill them. Sometimes you just have to have real talk with your adult children. Say, listen, after you turned 18, technically, I'm no longer responsible for raising you. And certainly when it comes to you being 21 years old, you're an adult. You have to take responsibility for yourself. There's a time that when birds leave the nest, I know you're not a bird, you're more intelligent than a bird, but it's time for you to leave the nest. And I know it gets hard. And let me say to you women, when it comes to those boys, because you women, oh my gosh, sometimes you all can really be soft on the boys. And you hamper them from being men because you don't want to show them tough love. You got to show that tough love. You know what? When it comes to men, he may actually still be your baby, but sometimes it's not good to tell him that. Let him grow up. Let him be a real man. Sometimes when you help your children, when you bail them out of a situation, you need to put them on notice. What do I mean by that? You need to tell them, look, I bailed you out this time, but this ain't going to keep happening. And you got to mean what you say. Some of you are so afraid that you're going to lose the love of your child. You're not going to lose love. I mean, if you do, that's on them. You learn good. You said Deacon Kenny said, preach, Pastor. I'm doing the best I can, Deacon Ken. No, but it's true. It is so true. There's so many men. Dorothy Shelby, God bless you. Thank you for your gift. Thank you for your seed. I appreciate that. There's so many young men that need to grow up. And let me say this. I know that sometimes single mothers who raise children or boys, they try to compensate for the absence of that child's father in their life. I know you might think that you're compensating, but you might be at the same time complicating that child's life, because you won't do what a good father would do, and that is to make that child, make that young boy grow up and actually become a man. And then you might say, well, you treat the daughter differently. Well, 9 times out of 10, in a lot of cases, that daughter is more responsible and even more responsive to the wisdom that's shared with her from her parents. I'm not saying that's in every case. It's not. Girls can be just as bad or even worse at times, granted. And it takes love on the hard love or tough love on the father's end, even now when it comes to the girls. But it's kind of strange that, but sometimes women, when it comes to them girls, they're much tougher on those girls than they are on the boys. But the reality is there should be a balance. There should be a balance. Okay, I just got this. I just got this message. I'm just seeing this message that came across. LaVonda Morton is celebrating the birthday. Wow. Is it today? I guess it's today. So if Minister LaVonda, if you're celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Minister LaVonda Morton. Y'all know we normally do this on the front end, but this one got back by us, and we certainly don't want to neglect wishing, neglect. We don't want to do that. We don't want to neglect wishing Minister LaVonda Morton a happy birthday. We love her. We appreciate her. And she's a part of not only our Morning Mocha family, but she's a active, wonderful, faithful member of Canaan Worship Center. And again, I just pray that you enjoy your day. I hope the snow and the inclement weather doesn't hamper you from you fully celebrating your day today. It's your day. It's your birthday. Enjoy it. And I don't even have to tell Minister LaVonda. I know she already gave God the glory and the praise. She's a worshiper. She like that. That's what she does, is give God thanks and praise. So God bless you. God bless you. I'm so delighted to be able to give that shout out to such a special person. God bless all of you. That's it. I went over a little bit today. That's all I have for you. It's been a great week this week. And listen, here's what's crazy, y'all. With all this inclement weather out here today, I think the temperatures originally this morning were in single digits this morning. That's how cold it was. How about it's supposed to be 62 degrees here Sunday? 62 degrees. Why am I mentioning that? I'm simply stating to you, don't allow the weather to keep you from coming Sunday. It'll be primarily melted away, the snow and all that stuff, by Sunday morning. The streets will be clear, roads will be dry, I'm quite sure. And we'd love to see you in person in worship this Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Canaan Worship Center. For those of you that are viewing us who are not a part of our Canaan Worship Center family, Lala Shay, oh my God, sending warmth from Florida. Oh, Sister Lala, now you about to make me sick. I'm jealous. I wish I was in that Florida sun right now. Thank you, Baluk Ali, reminding us that Sunday morning we need to remember that we spring forward. A lot of us don't have to really worry about setting our clocks because many of us keep track of time through our phones, and our phones automatically switch over and spring forward. But just know this, you don't have extra time to lay in bed this coming Sunday. You got to get on up and get on and get with it, and meet us at the house of the Lord this coming Sunday morning at 9 a.m. am. Praise God. I'm looking to see more of our members from Canaan Worship Center. Listen, if you know of one of your fellow members that you haven't seen since we've been open again, I want you to give them a call. Say, hey, I'm inviting you to church this coming Sunday. It's safe, y'all. It is safe. We still wear the mask and everything. We still are socially distant. So we're still being safe. And, we know that a lot of state and governments and all of that are dropping the mask mandate. We're not quite at that point yet where we feel comfortable enough to drop the mask mandate. And some of you might say, well, that's the reason why I'm not going to come. Well, you haven't been coming when they're, that's not your reason. You're going everywhere else wearing masks. Let's not use excuses. Let's just be honest. Just tell the truth. I just been lazy. I've gotten comfortable watching from the screen at home in my pajamas. No, but you need to come to the house of the Lord. Listen, it's so important that we, the people of God, come together in one place and gather physically and worship God together. Listen, it does something. The atmosphere gets set when we come into one place and worship together. And again, I say all the time that the world understands this. That's the reason why they started opening things back up as quickly as they possibly could. And I know they're not wearing masks or anything, but that's been going on for a long time. These sports arenas, man, they got them open. People are in there. People are in there, shoulder to shoulder, hollering and screaming and all that. Ain't nobody worried about no COVID now. For the most part, people think it's over. I don't think it's over. Especially when you still have people who are being hospitalized and contracting the virus and all of that and having to deal with all that. That tells me it's not quite over. That's the reason why I think it's necessary for us to continue to exercise precaution in that area. That's my conviction. And while I'm pastor at Canaan Worship Center, that's how we're going to roll. For right now, they're going to be coming. There's going to come a time when we'll feel comfortable enough to take off the mask and kind of return to normal. But right now, I don't think that time, it's come. I'm going to do some more praying because I want to be directed by the Holy Spirit in terms of how we move forward on that situation. But anyway, God bless y'all. It's been wonderful. My prayer, as always, is that you have a blessed, wonderful, and even prosperous, not just rest of your day, but rest of your weekend. And you can make that weekend very prosperous by going into the house of the Lord and giving God praise, the honor, the worship that he's due. Until next time, y'all be blessed.